Welcome back to Just in Our Minds. I'm here with another homie of mine, #1 bantamweight here in Utah. One of my favorite fighters to watch. He's going to be getting the belt back here soon. Holla at your boy too if you need your roof fixed. And he is one of my favorite dog whisperers out there. This is Joel Haro.
Thank you, Justin, for having me.
All right.
Excited to be here.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for coming on. Starting off, like, where did you start for your fight career? Like, or what your whole getting into martial arts and
The journey.
Mhm.
Yeah, so the journey started when I was, a sophomore in high school. We'll backtrack a little bit to my freshman year. I was bullied in high school. I was bullied my freshman year. I went to Judge Memorial, was bullied there, played football for Judge. And I'm a small guy. Football was not my sport. So then I switched to the Murray School District, and then all my friends there were like, "Dude, let's join the wrestling team." And I was like, "I don't know about that. I don't want to wear a singlet." Everybody says that, right?
yeah, that
And
high school.
oh yeah,
Until I got dominated by a wrestler, and I'm like, huh, okay, I'm gonna try this.
oh yeah, for sure. We joined the wrestling team. We do Hell Week. That sucked. After the first practice, like I was hooked. I couldn't walk after, which sucks. I was super sore. But all my friends and I were like, let's just go back.
Did you have a
we could do
small
this.
or a big wrestling room?
Well, we had a pretty decent sized wrestling room. It wasn't huge, but it also wasn't small. I feel like I don't really know how to gauge it,
Yeah.
but
Because ours was small and it was so humid in there.
really.
I just remember I'm like, what is this?
Oh yeah,
Oh, it's like, yeah, it's the same
for
thing.
sure. Yeah, same
The
thing.
level of grit you get from wrestling is
Mhm.
crazy.
Oh, dude, totally. I mean, compared to Box Elder's wrestling room, ours was small for sure.
Yeah.
But at Murray, we had a decent sized room. Same thing, dude. The windows didn't open, so it got hot and steamy in there. Yeah, I wrestled at one. I was supposed to wrestle 160s my sophomore year, but I wrestled at 170. And every time I say that, everyone's like, "Whoa, dude, really?" I'm like, "Yeah," because I was literally 160, but it was varsity, JV, exhibition, and exhibition. I was the last guy on the totem pole. So they're like, "Joel, we're gonna bump you up. We're not gonna make you cut weight since it's your first year. We'll bump you up a weight class." And that was cool. It was fun. I got my ass whipped that whole year, but
Those are some big boys.
oh, dude, yeah, oh for sure.
Yeah, I was like, because I did 152s and I was 155, and I thought it was cool wearing trash bags and stuff, trying to cut weight for 40
Right.
pounds.
Yeah, for 4 pounds, I had to eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches just to make weight. So
Yeah.
after my first year, I really wanted to continue. So then my junior year, I think I wrestled 52s, and then
And so did you did you drop weight? Like, what was what happened there?
I sort of dropped weight because I mean my first year I was already weighing 160, and my second year I kind of had a little bit of knowledge of nutrition, not really, but as a high school kid, I was like, I'm eating healthy.
We didn't have social media like to that level too. You don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the knowledge out there in that time frame is like, cool. You're like, eat an apple, need some protein. You're like, all right.
Exactly. Yeah, dude. And so like just during practices, I'd lose weight naturally, and so I got down to 52s, making the weight easy. I think I wrestled, I want to say JV for 152s. And then throughout that year, I did decent. I did okay. I won a lot more than I lost, I think. And then during the summer of my sophomore year, I told my mom and dad, I was like, "Look, I really want to train somewhere during the summer so that I can get better at wrestling," because I think I placed 5th at region, and they only take top 4 to state.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I want to train during the summer so that I can go to state my senior year. And I walked into Absolute MMA with my mom. That's where we met Pedro for the first time, Pedro Sierra. And I did a one-on-one with him, and we did some jiu-jitsu. And he wrapped me up like a pretzel in like the first 30 seconds when we started rolling. I was like, this is kind of fun. I want to train here. So I started training there. And then as the season got closer and closer, Pedro invited me to come start training with the fight team. And so I was like, yeah, sure. I was a teenage kid, wasn't doing much on Friday nights. yeah, I'll go train 4:30 p.m. with the fight team. Yeah, that sounds cool. It sounds fun. I go in, it's like Steve Sharp, William DeBell, Greg Carpenter, Denver Nerva, and just like all these killers, right? And that was not fun. I mean, it was fun, but it wasn't fun, you know?
I was just talking to somebody yesterday about the first time because I did MMA for a while when I was like in between like 17 and 20. And I did some smoker stuff like that. I wanted to do some stuff with California Fight Syndicate. But then I went and trained at the pit in San Luis Obispo in California with Don Hackelman and them. And I got destroyed and I realized I was a stepping stone. I was like, oh,
there's levels to this.
Yeah, I thought I was hot shit and I was not even a little bit. But that's the fun thing about the pecking order.
That is true.
You know, you go into public gyms and things like that, and you get these individuals that puff their chests, and people that fight or train. It's always just like kind of comical, you know.
Oh yeah, totally.
So, sorry, one step back. So, like, where would you say, as a kid? So, it's like our listeners it ranges from like 16 to 44
for sure,
and so there are individuals that may be getting bullied or that are intimidated to do wrestling. Or how long did it take for you to start feeling like some more of that self-worth and being proud for wrestling compared to getting bullied? Like, where would you say the transition happened?
Probably after maybe my 10th match.
Okay.
Because
after 170.
Yeah, 170. Because I mean, I was getting manhandled. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't out there winning a whole lot of matches, but like in the wrestling room, like I was doing it. I was learning wrestling moves. I was learning takedowns. I was learning pretty much how to defend myself without throwing punches, right? So it's like I'm still building that confidence, but then going out to the matches of feeling those nerves, and especially in front of all your friends, your family, everyone's there to watch, right?
And that's one thing I loved about wrestling too, is like if somebody has a spot if you can learn how to beat them, you could take that spot.
Exactly. And we'd have challenge matches every weekend or every week to see who's gonna be JV or who's gonna be varsity for those matches. And that's what I loved the most about it, was because every week you were still practicing with everybody, right? But every week you're still wrestling the guy above you to try to take his spot.
And you have to learn to lose.
And you have to learn to lose
in our society in a lot of ways.
Totally.
People need to learn to lose and learn to lose humbly. Because I get it, there are the Ronda Rouseys and the John Joneses and all these people that are just savages from day one or whatever, but they had to learn. People don't see their losses in the gym.
Exactly.
To build that Mamba mindset, you have to have the work ethic, build the skill, don't party, don't do the things,
For
but
sure.
at the same time, they all lost at one point in time.
Yeah.
And that's something I feel like that's missing. Like
everybody's beatable, So yeah, I'd probably say like my 10th match or so was when I really started building that self-confidence of like, even though I'm out here losing, I'm still training hard every day, every week. I'm still going to the tournaments. I'm still competing in the tournaments, and I'm doing well in the tournaments. The home duels, maybe not, but at the same time, it's like I'm still training hard. I'm still going to practice. I'm still showing up, right?
And some days you don't want to. There's plenty of matches you're like, oh, my stomach hurts. I have to poop right now. Like, there's probably fights too where you're like, why now? Like, I'm about to walk out. Like,
for sure.
Poop like right now.
For me, it's I always have to pee.
Yeah.
I like, especially now in fights, dude. I'm hydrated and stuff, and like every 10 minutes, dude, I'm going to the bath.
And after weight cuts too, your body's like, oh, we got to push this water out, right? You're like, no, please hold on to it.
Keep it in, please.
Like 3 5-minute rounds.
Totally. Oh yeah.
But yeah, it is. I think that's the side of things that too a lot of people have a hard time understanding. Like even with Jeremy and different people that come on, that's something I asked. I was like, how scary is it? And you're like, oh. It always is. Like, depending on whether you don't want to disappoint people or it's just like you have a savage in front of you.
For sure.
Or tournaments, like you lose a couple and you're like, well, here we go again. I'd hope to get a takedown.
Exactly. I just got pinned in 30 seconds the last match. Let's see what we can do with this guy,
Last a minute.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much, man.
I'm just trying to hold down my peanut butter and jelly sandwich for another 2 minutes.
Exactly. But I forgot where we were.
So
we left off.
No, we were still talking about psychology, and then that's when I went back there. So we went forward to now you're invited to the 430 fighters classes and camps with the pros, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
At Absolute.
Yes, correct. So during that summer of my junior year, I just kept training. Like I was in the gym every single day. My senior year came around and I now was wrestling at 145, and I was varsity captain. I went through the first, I think I went through the first tournament undefeated so far. Um, and that's where it kind of all started, really. I was already dedicated to the sport of wrestling. I also played baseball in high school, but wrestling was what I wanted to excel in more than anything else. And then throughout my senior year, I just, I was dedicated to the sport. I was dedicated to training outside of the gym, even before wrestling season. During preseason, I was still training at the gym. Even throughout the wrestling season, I was still dropping into the gym every now and then, especially during Christmas break. I'm like, let's go train. Um, and yeah, senior year, it went great. I took first in region. I didn't place in state, although I got to go to the state tournament, still competed in the state tournament, and wrestled some really tough guys at state. And you know, yeah, I really wish I would have placed. Really wish I would have done something with that. But at the same time, it's like I set this goal out to make it to state, to take region, and I accomplished those goals. And yeah, I'll admit I was happy to be at the state tournament. Unfortunately, it didn't go my way, but that's life, man.
It really
Not
is.
everything's not going to go your way.
Not everybody. If you look at the amount of people that go to state,
Yeah.
like if you think of it that way, you're like, there's a lot of people that only won 3 matches their whole career.
Totally.
It's so wild.
Yeah.
Like they don't even place first in the novice tournament.
Yeah.
So it's cool, but I mean, I understand that too. You're like you're a high achiever. I shouldn't say overachiever, but the high achiever. So it's always like, ugh, I wish I would have done this and this.
For sure.
But then again, too, those are those like what ifs, and then you could have gotten into an accident on the way to the state or whatever.
Exactly.
So it's like, if you believe in God or the universe or whatever it is, there's always a plan
for sure
set out for you.
Totally.
So, and then after senior year, and then like what did you start? So, or apparently wrestling, and then jujitsu and striking somewhere in the mix. Like, what would you say you fell in love with the most through high school as we're moving into your senior year? And
Sure. I'd probably have to say jujitsu, just because it was similar to wrestling. I felt comfortable, and after I graduated, started doing jujitsu tournaments, and then I remember I was in jujitsu class one day, and I look over to the other side of the gym, and I see people hitting stuff and kicking stuff. I was like, that'd be cool to do. I think I'm gonna do that tomorrow.
Yeah,
Hearing your shins crash against the pad, throwing punches and stuff, and I was like, that looks like a lot of fun. I'm gonna start tomorrow doing that. And I started training both, and I'd make it a thing. I'd train jujitsu and then train Muay Thai right after. And then I think after a year or two training kickboxing and jujitsu, and also mixing it in, getting comfortable getting hit in the face and getting comfortable punching someone and kicking someone, I remember asking my coach at the time, Rob Hanley, I was like, hey, what do I got to do to fight? I really want to do a fight, at least one. I want to at least try it. And he's like, just keep doing what you're doing. You're showing up every day. You're coming to training. Like, we'll find you something. I'm like, all right, cool. And then I went on a trip with Rob Hanley and Braden Kilpack to Vegas to go see Josh Berkman fight John Fitch. I think it was the third time.
Oh, yeah.
And on the way down there, I'm sitting in the back seat, just being the quiet kid I was. Rob looks back. He's like, you want to fight in 2 weeks? I was like, sure. For who? Total Mayhem. All right. At 135? Yeah. Perfect. So go on the trip, come back, and we're back to training, training hard. 2 weeks. I'm like, this guy's trying to take my head off. I was nervous, feeling all the nerves. And then we go out, go to the fight, make the weight, go to the fight. And then I beat him in 30 seconds. I knocked him out in 30 seconds. I was like, I remember feeling all those nerves, dude. I was so stressed. I was so stressed out. And I'm sitting in the locker room before the fight, and I'm looking around at everybody warming up, and I'm over here like, dude, people think this is normal here. Everyone's just chilling, laughing, having fun, having a good time, like another day in the office, And I go out and I fight, I win, and I'm like, dude, I'm so excited, I won,
Isn't that a wild adrenaline rush too?
Dude.
Because I remember my first knockout in boxing, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Because you see it, you kind of like, oh shit.
For sure. Yeah.
Like, oh, that was different than I thought it was gonna be,
Totally. And like at the same time, it's like that was my first ever fight that I've ever been in. You
Oh
know,
my
like
gosh, yeah.
I never fought back to my bullies, to be honest. You know, so I'm
And
like,
wrestling's a little different,
yeah,
there's a little bit different pace sometimes, but even then, just like that, yeah, because I remember that too. It's like those nerves, and then when it hits, you're like, oh shit, they're down.
for sure. And you're like, oh, this is real. Okay,
Yeah,
cool. You
yeah.
know, so yeah, I mean, after that fight, told myself I don't think I want to do that again. Like that was a lot of fun, but I'm not sure, you know. And this was just a conversation with myself. I
Mhm.
didn't have a conversation with anybody. And you know, go into the gym, and then I get hit up again. Hey, do you want to fight next month? Yeah, let's do it. You know. And so same thing. We go out, and I won by submission. And actually, no, I'm gonna backtrack. I'm a terrible storyteller.
That's
So my
okay. We got
apologies.
this. We got plenty of time.
My second fight was gonna be a kickboxing fight, and I go and I sign up for it, and you know we go to the weigh-ins. We train hard for it. My opponent didn't show up the day of the fight, so I didn't get to fight. And I was like, all right, I guess that's the fight game. I can't do anything about it. Even though I was upset, I was pissed. I was like, dude, you made me cut weight. You don't even show up. Like, what the hell, you know? But it's fighting. It is what it is. And like 6 months down the road, I get another kickboxing fight, and I was like, yeah, I'll take it. And it was against Ryder Campbell. I'm not sure if you know who he is.
He sounds familiar.
He trains out of Mori Academy.
Okay. They have some good guys, at least in jiu-jitsu.
Oh,
I've noticed
yeah.
they have some solid guys.
Oh,
It's like,
yeah. For sure. Like they're a good, well-established gym for sure. And I ended up losing this fight. The guy showed up. I was thankful that he showed up. We put on a hell of a fight. We got fight of the night. Then
decision, was it?
yeah, it was a
Okay.
decision. Yeah, I took my first head kick in that fight.
Ugh.
It was pretty crazy,
Yeah.
dude, because I was right next to my corner, and I love telling the story because I just thought it was kind of funny, because I'm up against the ropes, and he throws this left high kick. It hits me, and right as it hits me, I look to my left, and there's Pedro and Braden, and in that split moment, they just kind of looked at me and were like, I don't know what to tell you. You just got kicked in the head, you know?
Hands up.
Yeah.
Hands up.
Put your hands up. Do something.
Way to still stand up, bud.
Exactly.
Keep going. Like,
Yeah.
we checked your chin.
Yeah. And
Oh, it's that turnaround too. That's
yeah, whipped, and I was like, oh, I like made eye contact with both of them, and they're just like,
I always think that's a weird thing too, is like those split moments when you see somebody in like a crowd, you're like doing something like grappling or whatever, fighting, and you're like, you see somebody you know, or you see something for that split second. You're like,
yeah,
oh, hey, that's so and so. Oh, yeah.
yeah, yeah. In fact, for one of my amateur title fights, I fought on New Year's Eve, and I was on top of the guy. I was sprawled out on the guy, and I look up and I saw one of my friends just sitting there. I was like, oh, I know them.
Yeah.
Oh, I got
Oh,
fight.
yeah, I gotta fight back. It's that little split. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that is funny. Like, yeah, I remember getting knocked down by somebody, and then on the way down, I seen like my buddy's grandma. Like,
Oh, yeah. Or like walking in between rounds,
Yeah.
go back to your corner, you start seeing people you recognize. And,
yeah,
cool, I'm fighting in front of my mom, my dad, my grandparents, you know.
right. Once, and it's always just, I just think it's funny. It's like, why of all times, like your brain just like, oh, hey.
Yeah, pretty much.
But so then you get head kicked by Ryder.
Yep, I get head kicked, lose the fight of the night, and then 2 months later, um, I got another fight for, I think it was Total Mayhem, and it was a kid that backed out on me the day of the fight, and I was like, yeah, I'll fight him if he shows up for sure. And you know, we go through the whole process through fight camp, the weight cut, the face off, the whole 9 yards. He shows up to the day of the fight, so I was like, finally, I get to fight this guy. I had some personal beef with him because he didn't show up for the first time, you know, and we end up fighting. I submitted him in the first round, like the first minute and a half, I think.
Oof.
That was an adrenaline rush for sure. So yeah, then after that one, I was like, oh, I guess I'm kind of good at this. Let's keep fighting. You know, this is a lot of fun. I'm an amateur at this point. I'm not really getting paid. I'm getting paid from ticket sales, but
It's kind of okay too, like the losses in kickboxing and not in MMA. You're like, all right, well,
Yeah.
yeah, I went to a decision, I took a head kick, and now I'm girl. You start feeling that like level up, like you're like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm in for this.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I'm like, I've already experienced losing. It is what it is. Now on to the next one, right? Win that fight, and then took another fight after that. That's when I had my first MMA loss against Joe Hamilton from Idaho. I lost by a decision. Tough fight. We were going back and forth, but I got out wrestled, and he walked away with the win. And I was like, you know what? I didn't get knocked out. We put on a hell of a fight, so yeah, I'm sad about it, but at the same time, like, you got to keep moving forward, you know? And then after that fight is when I had my first title fight for Steel Fist. And with that fight, I really dove deep into the whole kickboxing, putting everything together, the wrestling, everything. And came away with a 5-round victory off of that fight, became the amateur champion. And I just felt myself leveling up after each fight, after each defense, and that's when I really grew as a fighter. I was like, okay, cool.
You
Let's
can really see you
keep
fine
going.
tune things too. Like you see where your holes are, and you don't just lean on your strengths all the time. That's
Exactly.
something I see even with I think it was the guy that you ended up losing the belt to later on. But that was something you could see is because your next fight, you could see some of the things that maybe didn't go your way in that very fight. The guy that was in the UFC,
Yeah, yeah,
yes, you could see the transition between that and the next fight, and you could see where the gaps could have been. Maybe not even gaps, or just like maybe it just wasn't there that day.
for sure.
But yeah, you being able to level up again, and every time I've seen you fight, there's always like a little adjustment somewhere that you're doing.
Absolutely.
Whether it's the direction of the kicks or angles or like you said wrestling or but you don't have. I don't see any. There's no holes in your game, which is cool.
I appreciate that.
Because I feel like a lot of not a lot of them, but some Utah fighters they tend to stay with striking, and then they just I don't know why some fighters don't take wrestling or jujitsu as serious, and then you
Yeah,
see
yeah,
them slip up and get submitted or something like that.
for sure.
I shouldn't say all Utah, but it is. I've seen it in the last couple of years. It seems like it's happened more times, but
Yeah, yeah. Well, I appreciate it. I really take my job serious, and I'm my own worst critic. If I'm getting dominated in one area, I'm like, all right, dude, we got to focus on that before you take another fight.
and it's being realistic, right? Being the student. It's
Yeah,
the whole part of being a martial artist. I feel like.
always got to remain being the student of the
Mhm.
game, no matter how good you are.
And just being able to accept certain situations, because then there's other fighters too that just deny or they make excuses or whatever, and sometimes like with you too, you're like, well, shit happens, just go back to the drawing board.
Got to go back to the drawing board.
And then so amateur champion.
Amateur champion for a few years, and then I actually took a break from fighting. I think it was 2016. I moved away to Arizona. Looking back, I really wish I didn't do that. Moved for the wrong reasons, and but at the end of the day, I came back with a lot of good friendships and relationships out there. I still was training. I was just took a step away from the fighting game and really focused on traditional Muay Thai and kickboxing, and I wasn't training a whole lot of jujitsu. And then once I moved back about a year and a half later, I took my last amateur kickboxing fight and won that one. And that's when you really got to see like the level of striking that I really got to improve on from my time away. So like looking back, yeah, it was a mistake moving, but at the same time, it's like you you grew in your striking. So I'm like, okay, cool, even trade off, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, and then
And then I mean, it's cool because people like yourself and some of the other pros I see, even amateurs, but they'll travel around and pick up skills from other. Not that you don't have loyalty to your gyms, of course
Mhm.
you do, but it's
Yeah.
cool to be able to go out to Colorado and different places because there's specifics that you need.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
I think that's cool that you're capable of doing that, and then you have the means to be able to do that kind of stuff
For
too. But
sure.
I feel like that's the whole like you look at Bruce Lee or like Jeet Kune Do and all these things. Like that's the I think that's the thing is
Yeah,
like, you're
yeah,
making your soup. Like you need
for sure.
ingredients from different things to make that thing taste better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You got to add more skills to your toolbox. And I'm very fortunate that I've been able to travel out to Colorado, train with some high level guys that are better than me as well. And that's where I feel like you learn the most is when you're training with these guys that are better than you and higher level coaches That way you're like, okay, cool. Once you leave, I can take this stuff home to work on and also show the rest of my teammates, hey, this is what I was working on with so-and-so, or this coach was telling me this. And actually looking at it, this is a great way to, say, throw a cross or throw a kick or whatever it may be, right? And just pass the knowledge along, It's like, at the end of the day, it's all about the journey.
And experiences, right?
Yeah.
Like just being stuck in a bubble isn't your whole life isn't going to be the best. In my opinion, isn't the best way. It works for some people,
for sure.
Maybe you do have the same coach your whole life and it works out for you.
Totally.
But I feel like there's a lot of people, like you said, like because you did is Big Muay Thai, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So you're able to add all these little variables in there, and you're creating your own sauce, and then you can bring that sauce back for other people.
Absolutely, for sure.
And then so Arizona. You're in Arizona, and then I think you're saying you moved back.
Yep.
You leveled up your striking, and then somewhere along the way, that's probably where you started fighting for Fierce as well.
Yeah. So once I moved back, I took my last amateur fight, and then 2020 came around, and that's when I made my pro debut, actually. So Fierce had originally had a show, I think it was booked in November of 2020, and 3 days before the fight, it got canceled because of COVID. And oh, dude, I'll never forget. I was so mad. I was so bummed out. Like, it was gonna be the easiest weight cut. It's like, dang, that sucks. But oh well, they booked it for like a month out or something, or 2 months. I don't remember. And I think it was January. I couldn't tell you, to be honest. It's just such a blur. But
weird time.
Weird times for sure. And dude, I remember going through camp, like, it was just a small knit group.
Allegedly, right?
Yeah, allegedly.
Shadow boxing.
Shadow boxing in my room,
with one of those N95 masks on.
Yeah, dude, pretty much.
Fighting off aerosol cans.
Yep. But yeah, like, we had a tight-knit group. We were training at, I was still training at Absolute at the time. And then also at Hector Rodas's previous gym, Yin Wellness, was a select few group of guys that I trained with: Skylar Frazier, TJ Mitchell, Jake Mariano, and Steve Sharp. Steve Sharp was fighting on that card. And I think we had Julian Ruiz on there too.
Shout out to all those guys.
Shout out to those guys.
Because they're all savages.
Oh, for sure. And I remember going through that camp, like, people were dropping like flies around me because they got COVID, and I'm like nervous because I'm like, dude, I got my pro debut coming up. I don't want to have to back out because of COVID, So I was getting tested every other day. That's probably not the right way to do it, but I was making sure I was getting tested. I'm undefeated in COVID tests, thank God,
Yeah.
And I finally make it to the fight, and I fought Nate Owens, and dude, he's a savage, man. He's good. He's a really good guy. And we go through the fight, and I caught one of his front kicks, and he popped me with a solid right hand, and then took me down. I worked my way back up, ended up submitting him. So that wasn't the way I saw the fight going at all. I thought we were going to have a really good striking match back and forth. Didn't end up going that way. So I was disappointed in myself, just because I won, but it's not the way I wanted to win. I wanted to go out and put a show on, because I felt like once the word got out that I was making my pro debut, like, everybody was like, oh, we're going to see this, we're going to see this, we're going to see that from Joel. I can't wait to watch Joel fight, this and that. Go out, and I end it with a guillotine in the first round. And yeah, like, I was excited I won, but I was like, that's not how I wanted to win, though.
Right.
You know what I mean? So and then fast forward to my second pro fight, Kesley Collard. I was like, okay, cool. And this was during the time where I was leaving Absolute, and Sierra MMA was in the process of opening. And
is Kesley related to Clay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Clay's little brother.
Yeah.
And shout out to the Collard boys, man.
Jeez,
like,
they're savages.
They're savages, man. And so I knew Kesley was gonna come in. I knew the family he was coming from. So I'm like, this is gonna be a good fight. I can't wait for it.
I met them, at least Clay, at the pit in Orem. I'm like, ugh.
Okay.
I think that was where it was. But yeah, those guys
yeah.
are savages.
I first met Clay over at Gracie's one night.
Really?
Yeah. But
oh, the bar. I thought you meant like one of the gyms.
Oh, no. Yeah, the bar downtown.
Yeah, those boys. I remember those boys were wild.
Oh, good times, man. Good times. But let's see. Yeah, so Kesley Collard fight happened. Let's see. That's when I also started training with Bobby King up at Koa Kingdom up in Layton. and
Another savage.
another savage.
Gentle soul too. He seems like such a. I've met him a couple times. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, he's such a good dude, man. Such a good dude. Even better coach. Like he's a great person all around.
You know what's funny is one of the best coaches that I trained with was actually Keone Diggs. That he
no way.
Tor. Yeah, he came into Lompoc. That was the first time I ever found out that I could get knocked out because he hit me. He was southpaw and he was 215 at the time. He hit me with an overhand left, and I was just standing there, and he was like, "You good? Oh, yeah, you good?
You good, brother?"
And then he was just like, "Dude, you just kind of froze and stood there," and I'm like, I was talking to God. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, he hit me, and I'm like, oh no, I'm a human. Like I thought I was this. Anyways, yeah. So he was one of our coaches. Like he came to our small town little boxing gym. But yeah, Keone. So it was funny to see that. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is that when I was training at Absolute, Nick Rossborough was also training there too, and I went down to Arizona with him to go corner him in King of the Cage. And sitting back in the locker room, there's Korean Zombie, I think Benson Henderson, and Keone Diggs was fighting that night. I have a picture of all of us together. I was like, dang, cool moment. But then Bobby ends up fighting Keone. I was like, oh, I remember that guy. I took a photo with him.
Dude, he was really cool. Like, we used to chill, and I think I don't know if it matters, but he's even smoked weed with me and my mom. Like I brought him over. Just, this is my coach. My mom, she out smokes everybody.
That's awesome.
The whole joint tour just all talking. I just remember leaving. He's like, "You want to go train again?" I was like,
"No."
Okay,
melting is a stretch.
Yeah, cool. Let's go for round 2. I'll show CT who's boss this time.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was wild. I was like, oh, cool. Because it was cool to see his comeback too, because he took a big break and he went all the way up to 215 and then got back into it. And then to see him on that big of a stage, I'm like, good for you, dude.
Yeah.
I just remember those were those levels where I'm like, oh,
sure.
No, I'm like just a fragile little man. It's just like I feel cool around people that don't know how to fight very well, apparently.
Yeah.
Like, you do jujitsu against a boxer or something or wrestling, it's like, oh yeah, but then you train with the guys like that or anybody else, and it's like, oh, damn it. Like when you go to Colorado.
For sure. Oh yeah, totally.
Here we go.
Yeah, but I'll never forget my first sparring session out there with like all the high level pros over at high altitude. Dude, I was so nervous. I had the fight day nerves, walking in there. I was like, I don't know what to expect, and some of the guys I sparred with were, crazy. I remember walking out of there with a goose egg on the side of my face from Chepe Mariscal.
Oh my God.
But what's funny is after that session, he came up to you, dude, I can see that you really want to get good. Every time you're out here, hit me up. Let's train. I'm like, all right, cool. So that's what, it was great, taking an ass whooping, but built a friendship in a way, you know what I mean?
And then they see you, when people like that see you and you're like, oh, cool, awesome.
Yeah.
No, that's great. And, it's cool to have people see your level ups and things like that. I think that's huge. I'm sure for you too, like, because your technique is awesome.
Thank you.
And then you leveling up with those kind of people, like, that's the only way to do it, I would think.
For sure. I feel like that is the way to do it, get in a room surrounded by people that are like-minded like yourself, but are better than you, and
well, it's a fun thing too, is like, then you add something out there. They're like, hey, Joel, can you show us this? Like, you did this thing here with so-and-so. And then that's another, I think that's cool too. And depending on what room you're in, but with like Pedro or John McCain, it's different things. They're like, hey, you're wrestling or this or that.
Yeah.
Can you come show how you do this? And then it turns into a piece of class. And I think that's really cool too.
And like I said earlier, you're handing off something that you've learned somewhere else to your team or to your friend, whoever it may be, so that's the beauty of martial arts,
Yeah. And then so we're Collard. You fought Collard. Was that your third pro fight?
That was my second pro fight.
Second pro fight.
Second pro fight. First fight under Bobby King and Pedro, and that's kind of where it all took off from there. Doing my striking up with Bobby really elevated my striking too with the bank system, and then after Kesley, let's see, I think I fought Steven Steyerwalt after that. And training for that fight is when I first started going out to Colorado. Bobby was also in camp. And, I think it was for the Keone Diggs fight too. We both go out to Colorado and he's kind of showing me the way of training out there, and met Sensei Ludwig, and it was all history after that, man. Started training out there. We went back, I think 2 or 3 times during camp, and, really leveled up, came back home, got a W with the stoppage in the first round. And then, fast forward after that fight, it was, let's see, let's see, I'm drawing a blank. After Steven Starwell, I believe it was Albara Atma from, oh wait, no, it was actually Warren Weingartner. And it was for the title out here for Fierce. And same thing, I went back out to Colorado, trained out there, came home, won the title. And then after that, I fought Yazin Hajeh up in Idaho for Fierce, defending my belt. And that was my first pro loss. And
That was a guy from the UFC, right? Or he was a UFC fighter?
he was from Contender Series.
Or Contender.
Yeah. And I learned a lot that fight, and I learned a lot to what I needed to do for my camp specifically.
He had a bunch of pro fights, though, right?
Yeah. Well, I think he had, let's see, maybe 10 pro fights. So, I mean, a bunch, a handful, you know. And I lost my belt by decision, and you know, went back to the drawing board. All right, these are the things I need to work on. I need to work more on my wrestling. I need to work more on getting up if I get taken down, and have the urgency, because at the time in jiu-jitsu class, it was more of like, try to hold Joel down, but at the same time, we weren't really going off a time limit, right? It was no time limit rounds pretty much. And I was like, dude, we got to have some time limits, at least for myself, you know, so that I can have that urgency. Oh, I've got a minute and a half to get up, and I got taken down for the second time. I got to get up and get to a dominant position, right? So we started incorporating that. And then, you know, after that fight, I fought Albara Atma. He's from Canada, one of the top dogs up in Canada. And I think it was his first fight at 135. And same for that camp. I spent a whole month out in Colorado. And that's when, I'm not sure if you know who Casey Radden is. He trains out at the Bang headquarters out there. He used to fight out here locally.
Sure. Okay.
He has fought for Fierce a couple times, but I hit him up. Hey man, I'm going to be spending a month out there. I'd love to get some training with you. And he's a world-class kickboxer, man. Like, he's really good. Really, he's a savage everywhere now. Like, I believe he's got a 6-2 pro record as well. But anyway, he's like, yeah, dude, come on out. Let me know when you want to get some work in. I'll take you wherever I'm training. All right, cool. I go out, and he's like, hey, what are you doing tomorrow at this time? I mean, I'm here for a month, and I don't live here, so I guess I'm training. Where are we training? He's like, all right, perfect. Let's go to high altitude. Let's go hit MMA practice. I'll bring you in. Great, cool. Let's do it. We go, and I wasn't nervous for that practice because it was more like grappling, situational stuff. And I go in, meet some of the coaches. And I met Corey Sandhagen for the first time, and that was pretty cool, man. I was kind of starstruck, but at the same time, I was like, Joel, you got to play it cool, like,
yeah,
relax.
He's like a cool, down to earth, silly motherfucker from what I see.
Oh yeah, he's a solid dude.
His OnlyFans made me laugh.
But he and Robert talking shit.
His testicles. Did you hear about that?
No,
he just put his balls on OnlyFans.
Did he
ended up making like $1 million?
Damn.
I swear, I know it's real. I haven't looked. Yeah, but yeah. You got to pull out the pumpkins around Halloween.
Oh, that's funny.
As far as I know, it's real. But I'm like, damn, he's gonna be Santa hanging.
Santa Hagen. That's hilarious.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good. You're good. Now I got it.
Now you're starstruck.
Good back.
Yeah. Back out of back up, make eye contact. Yeah.
But yeah, dude, that practice went really well. And then Corey and I sat after practice, kind of chatting back and forth. He's like, dude, you know, he's asking me where I'm at in my career. He's like, that's cool. And he's like, dude, come to sparring tomorrow. I feel like you trained really well. I mean, you weren't trying to rip anything off on anybody here or on myself. Like, yeah, come to sparring tomorrow. And, you know, we'd love to have you. All right, cool. I walk out of there. I was like, shit, now I really have to go to sparring tomorrow. You know, these guys are going to try to take my head off, you know? And but I was like, well, this is what I'm here for. So got to send it, you know?
What's one more goose egg between new friends?
Exactly. You know, and the next day, my friend Lori and Casey and I were driving to sparring, and Casey's in the back seat. He's like, are you nervous? I'm like, yeah, dude, of course I'm nervous. You know, he's like, all right, cool. Just whatever you do, don't spar with this guy named Chepe. I was like, okay, I don't know who that is, but sure. He's like, oh, he's just talking him up. He's a savage. He's in the UFC. He judoed through someone and broke their arm. I'm like, dang, okay, well, I'm going to avoid Chepe with, exactly. I'm going to avoid him with everything, you know? And I get there and, you know, I start sparring with some of the guys there. And I met one of my really good friends, Rich Morcheco, out there. He's one of the coaches. And he's like, hey, spar with my brother. His name's Carlos Valdez. was like, all right, cool. We start sparring, solid round, solid fighters. We had a really good round, and became really good friends after that. And then the round after that, this guy comes up to me, hey, you need a partner? I'm like, yeah, dude, I need a partner. I'm all gung ho. Yeah, let's do it, man. And when you're in a new gym, you're sparring, you can feel people watching you, right?
Yeah.
And then people start coming up to spar with them.
Those little gym sharks.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I don't know if I
Yeah.
call them gym sharks, but like, like fresh blood in the
Yeah.
fresh meat in the gym. Let's see what this guy's about. And me, yeah, I'm not gonna say no. So I'm like, yeah, of course, dude. Let's get some rounds in. And we start sparring, and it's like we're fighting. I'm like, oh shit, okay. And I'm over here like trying to figure out the gauge of how hard should I go.
36 to 36.
30, exactly, dude, exactly. And so next thing you know, I get picked up, dropped on my head.
You're like, this is
I'm getting beat up on the ground like hard, and I'm just like, holy shit, what is going on? Are we fighting? And someone
there's a ref right next to you now,
right?
Distinction, dude.
Yeah, dude, yeah.
That wasn't a waiver I signed.
Right. Exactly. I forgot to sign the waiver. One sec. And I hear Rich Morcheco, hey, line it up. Well, all right. In my head, I'm like, I wasn't going hard, but I'm getting beat up. Like, it is what it is. And then after the round ends, and then after the round, I'm like, dude, what's your name? Oh, my name's Chepe, man. Good work. And in my head, I'm like, oh, you're the guy that Case was telling me not to spar.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I was like, hey, man, I made it. He's the one that gave me the goose egg on the side of my head. So I was like, okay, whatever. And, he and I chatted after sparring, and, it was all good vibes in general, and
You still made it through the round?
still made it through the practice, bro. And it's like, anytime you're out here, let's get some work in. I'm like, all right, yeah, absolutely, man. He's telling me his story. I'm telling him my story. And, it's kind of history ever since. Just kept going back. And then fast forward to the fight, it was a 3-round fight, and that's where the iconic point came into play. I hit the guy with the spinning elbow, and I'll never forget that fight. That was one of my favorite fights, one of my favorite performances I've ever put on. And what made it even better was, you could hear his corner talking some shit. Then you hear Bobby King right next to Pedro talking shit back. It was so much fun. You just had to be there, and like, I have the raw footage of the fight, and before I hit him with that spinning elbow, you can hear his corner yell out, put him up against the fence and elbow him. And then right after, you hear Bobby, yeah, let's try that, and then boom, I hit him with the elbow. And which is why I pointed at him, I was like, I got to do something, man.
You'll have to send that to us so we could B-roll it for some.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, it was such a good fight, and
how many spinning back elbows have you thrown, or spinning elbows in general?
I've thrown a lot, to be
Yeah, I was gonna say, I've seen highlights of just boom, boom, and I've been to a ton of your fights too. Like, so it's been, well, a ton, like at least the 6 Pro. I think I've been
for sure
most of them.
Yeah,
but no, it's dude, the spinning elbow is just
yeah,
because that one was off the fence too, right?
Yeah, it was off the fence. Yeah, it was off the fence, and like, I have clips of all the elbows I've thrown in fights. Like the ones that Fierce has posted, like that's not even all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's my favorite move to use, even though it's, people know it's coming, but they just haven't figured it out yet, and how to stop it, which I think that's great. But yeah, then after that fight, I think I was supposed to fight Michael Sire actually here at the Maverick Center for the belt. Same thing for that camp. Went back out to Colorado, really trained hard for that one. And then the fight fell through 3 days before the fight. Didn't end up fighting. And then after that was scheduled, that's when I believe I was scheduled to fight Hunter for the belt again a year ago, almost to the same date, December 13th of 24. And that fight, I learned a lot about myself, about life in general. Had a lot of personal stuff going on throughout camp.
People don't realize how how the struggle for like weight cuts and personal life, working and training, it's crazy.
For sure.
They only see the finished product usually,
Exactly. They don't see everything that goes on behind the scenes other than just training, right?
Yeah, it's like a spiritual battle.
It really is, man. It really is. I was going through a lot of stuff personally, and I could tell I was not focused for that fight. To an extent I was, but also like, dang, this is a big fight. This guy has twice the experience that I do as a professional. And what's crazy is that when I got offered this fight, I immediately said yes because I told Zach I want a tough fight. You know, I want a tough fight. I don't like picking fights that I could just win easy, right? I was like, give me a tough fight. He gives me Hunter. They give me Hunter. My manager hit me up. He's like, hey, what about Hunter? I was like, yeah, let's do it. In fact, as an amateur, I was asked to fight him on 2 weeks' notice for Showdown when Showdown was around. And I said no because I was like, yeah, I was not managing my weight well enough. And I was like, I can't make the weight. Like, I ain't gonna do that. That's not a smart decision, you know?
That's something that seems like you've taken more serious too. Not that you didn't as a pro, but that's something I feel like that misses in the aspect of like local pro.
Yeah.
Like you don't have the UFC PI and high level nutritionist all the time.
For sure.
There's little things to track all your macros and things for you, inflammation markers and all that stuff. So
Totally.
But I remember us talking, you're like, I've been taking that side of it. Or at least
Well,
you
not more
never took
seriously.
it serious. You just didn't, like, you don't know. Like, you don't understand.
You don't know what you don't know.
A little shoulder check there on the microphone. But yeah, it's, but it is that thing, you know, it's, you know about as much as you know.
Yeah, exactly. And when I was training to fight Steyerwalt, I was working with Jason Laporte with my nutrition. And ever since then, I've just kind of been following the same exact plan. And
If it works,
if it works, you know, it works, you know. So I've just been riding on that and tweaking things here and there as I learn different things.
And you know, it's being a pro in everything. Because if you really want it, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
It's not, oh, well, I need this or this. And it's hard too. Like as a fighter, or anybody that cuts weight for like bodybuilding or anything like that, you can develop eating disorders.
For sure.
And it's a real thing. And then from getting hit in your head so much too, you want dopamine. Like
Exactly.
you want your pituitary gland don't produce the, enough, and it can damage things. Like people don't realize that. Or you don't have the awareness because like you have this idea of like, that's something always gets me too with like pro or amateur pros is like they listen to somebody that's like a fighter, which is fine, but then like it's like you're not going to listen to a pro ballerina about nutrition.
For sure.
So sometimes they're like, oh yeah, just eat a bunch of pasta when you after your weight, like your weight cut goes after you weigh in, then just eat whatever you want. And say, no, you got to eat the same thing that got you there.
For sure.
Just then you water load and you learn how to hydrate properly, and then you refeed.
For sure.
But
yeah, and as an amateur, dude, I was not cutting weight properly. I wasn't cutting it healthy. I was healthy, right? I wasn't even taking nutrition as serious, dude. Like there was points where I was starving myself. Like I kind of did develop an eating disorder a little bit, you know. And even to this day,
you almost crave the suffering too.
Exactly.
If you don't suffer hard enough, then did you really train for this properly towards the end? I feel like that's the thing too.
Yeah.
You're like, I need to die 2 days before, like so I can be resurrected,
right,
on the scale.
Yeah, and just have that little satisfaction of making the weight. Right?
Yeah.
And like from my mistakes as an amateur, dude, I definitely know I don't have the most healthiest relationship with food now, which I'm really kicking myself. And that's something I've really been trying to work on outside of camp. And I've been making really good progress with that for sure. And
there's supplements and things like taurine and certain supplements that you can take to help with natural like dopamine production and stuff like that too, which I could talk to you about later. But
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there's little things, and then there's a big difference, right? When you have a solid weight cut and you don't have your chin's better, your energy's better, you last the
for sure
5-minute rounds, you know, instead of being stuck. And then once you get to round 3 or whatever, your muscle tissue just starts.
You still feel fresh in a way now, you know. It's like, oh, okay, there's a lot more behind than just eating healthy. It's making sure you're hydrated, doing the right things for your rehydration, doing things better for your weight cut,
testing your hormones and things.
Yeah, that
in between, like all that stuff. Those numbers all matter
for sure.
It's consuming and all that data, and it can be expensive. So, but finding something that works, having a blueprint that works well is like a big thing. So, and I see the difference. You could see the differences. We talked about that, you know, before. You're like, yeah, dude, I've been sticking to weight like year round now.
Yeah.
And then you less of a weight cut, you feel stronger, and then you feel like you do in the gym. Because fight week though, like getting down to that and then having to stay at a peak level, that's not sustainable.
It's not.
Like you shouldn't train, like people can, but some of those people are just freaks that can jump 7 feet in the air, and
for sure
they're built for it. But not everybody's mitochondria is built for that specifically. But
yeah.
I don't know if I'm getting too deep in the weeds on that side of
Oh,
it.
you're totally fine.
But yeah, that's just something I see, and it's like that's my profession, like my background, like
Yeah.
the certifications and nutrition. But that's something I'm proud of for you and other people to do, Julian and some of the other fighters that I've seen that have gone on both sides. It's like the inflammatory markers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You have like, oh, I had a beer with dinner or whatever. Because 1990, 2000s, you got Tank Abbott's and things like that,
Yeah.
and those are the guys you're learning how to eat from. You're like, it shows like the so-and-so was eating mashed potatoes, a big steak, and 3 beers. And then the next day he was doing fine. Or you got the John Joneses and stuff doing no sodas the day before a fight too. But yeah, but anyway, so getting back to your so, and then did you have any fights after so that you said that was your last one? You learned a lot from Hunter, right?
Yeah, so Hunter, that was a really tough fight. That's when the spinning elbow hurt across the world happened. That was pretty dope. Yeah, dude, I was preparing really I prepared really well for it. I feel like I was out in Colorado for a month, trained with my friend Rich Morchecco at the time. He was in the process of opening his own gym, Havoc MMA, which is where I was this last couple weeks. So I trained out with them and their team, Carlos Calderon, Brandon Royval, Carlos Valdez, and so many other guys out there. And
that's fun too, because a lot of those guys or some of those guys are similar size to you too.
Similar size to me.
High level,
dude. Like Carlos Calderon fought in Dana White's Contender Series and is fighting in Fury actually 2 days after me. And dude, he's a savage, man. Same with Carlos Valdez. He's just fought in UFL and had a really impressive stoppage on that. And like every time we get rounds in, they're always competitive. And it's just great training out there,
and that's even higher elevation than here too, or with training.
Just I think like 15,000. I don't know, to be honest, but I do know it's higher.
Yeah,
don't ask me on numbers,
like 1,500 feet or something.
Yeah.
Because I think we're at 65, and it's something like that out there too.
Something, I don't know for sure.
We're gonna say higher.
I feel it when I go out there.
Like the cryogenic or the what is it? The hyperbolic chamber. You're out there turning Super Saiyan.
Yeah, dude. Let's see, where was I? So I come back from that fight, and this was also during the time where I was also training at Agema, started training there, wasn't at Sierra as often. So I'm kind of on my way out from Sierra, but also new at Agema with Dane and Court. Still training with Bobby. Unfortunately, Bobby wasn't able to make it to corner me in that fight. I was also training with Joe Bish at Dice Standing Boxing Club. Unfortunately, he couldn't corner me because he was suspended at the time from cornering. So I had my friend Mike Brown from the Bang Muay Thai HQ come out. He helped corner me. Rich Morchecco came out and cornered me since I was training with him and his team majority of the camp. And then Dane cornered me. So I got all 3 new coaches in the corner.
Solid corner.
I mean, in reality, it was a solid corner for sure, but like
different.
I couldn't really hear them that well.
It's hard to. I didn't think of that because they're not as familiar probably with the voice too, because you're tapped in. That's a whole different ball game.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, that's a skill in itself.
First
the controller wasn't plugged all the way in.
Yeah, so the controller wasn't.
Do you like fighting at the Masonic Temple?
To be honest, I do not. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's a fight.
It's a fight. Like I don't know. It's just kind of weird there, to be honest. But I do love seeing fights. I like
that Freemason.
I'm kind of 50-50 on it, to be honest. Because I lost there, right? I don't like that place because I lost. But at the same time, it's like, dude, you can feel everybody's energy.
Yeah, I thought it was more like it's like our version of the Apex.
Yeah, dude, pretty much. Everyone's right there, and you can hear a pin drop. You could hear anybody say whatever, and it's like, dang, I'm picking up everybody's energies, whether it's positive or negative. It's just like,
but I guess that's hard too if you have the coaches that you're not used to hearing.
Yeah, too.
And then you have all that the excess chatter that's closer.
Exactly. Yeah, dude. So like,
you're trying to drag them over to your corner.
Well, sure, for sure, totally, man. But it is what it is. I still went out there and fought to my abilities to an extent, because at the same time, I feel like I kind of beat myself at the same time going into that fight because I let the outside noise affect my mindset, affect a lot of different things in my life, and And plus, dude, that was the first time I broke my nose in a fight.
Mm.
First 30 seconds of the fight,
Yeah.
dude. 1-1-2, boom, busted my nose up. It's leaking. I was like, all right, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
Joel, you got to move your feet,
Yeah.
bro. You
Mouth
can't sit
breathing.
in front of them. Exactly, dude.
It fatigues you.
It really does, because you can barely breathe. I can barely breathe through my nose as it is. You turn into a mouth breather when it's broken, and so on top
Definitely
of
the
that,
dripping down your throat too.
yeah. On top of that, you had the fight stress, and then I knew I wasn't fighting my own style.
Can't breathe, can't hear.
Exactly, can't hear. I let my ego get in the way. I wanted to stand in front of him and try to, ego fight him, and that was not the right plan to do. And then I finally woke up. I was like, okay, I got to move my feet. And then he started pressing forward again. I was like, all right, let's try something. Let's try something. He keeps moving forward. He keeps moving forward linear. He's going to do it. He's going to do it again. Does it again. And I slip and I throw that spinning elbow with the worst intentions I ever, dude. Caught him right on the chin and I dropped him. And I'll never forget, dude, the how loud that place got when that happened. It was so loud in there. I was like, oh, I got to finish him, because I hopped right on him, because when I hit that guy with the spinning elbow and pointed at him, people were criticizing me. Why didn't you just finish him? You wasted time pointing at him. I'm like, yeah, dude, but like at the same time, we're in the entertainment business. At least make it entertaining, right? But then,
unfortunately, that's part of it now. You got to be entertaining. You got to have good promos. WWE or UFC nowadays.
Yeah,
you got to be able to handle that.
Yeah. And so I made the mistake of rushing in on him to try to finish, and he pulled the veteran move, went straight to his wrestling, went on a double leg. I was hitting him, but it wasn't the shots that I needed to finish him. He climbs back up, pins me up against the fence. And at that point, I was fatigued from trying to hit him. I couldn't breathe. I'm like, damn it. All right, let's try to figure this out, And, the fight plays out. He clipped me. I'm on the ground. He gets on top of me, ends up submitting me. And, dude, normally when I'm in an arm triangle, it's hard to submit me. But when he's squeezing and your nose is busted and you can't even breathe but gargle in your own blood, like, all right, this is it. I can't breathe. I can't do anything, right? So I learned a lot from that fight, which then translates to the Horsley fight. He clipped me in the first round, and immediately I thought of what Hunter did to me. All right, wrestle. You got to wrestle right away. Get in tight. That's exactly what I did, and ended up playing out really well for me. He lets me off the fence, and I go back to work, and ended up finishing him in the third round.
100%. And that's a great thing too. It probably goes back to you having some losses in wrestling early on.
Totally.
You just back to the drawing board. You see where you messed up.
For sure.
Yeah. And then I'm sure you had different coaches in the corner at that time. Not saying the coaches were the reason, but then if you have some familiar voices, that's cool too. You're able to fight through adversity, and everything's not going to be perfect. Like you're right. There's no perfect. So you've been able to handle both and get it on the way up.
Yeah.
So, and then was that your last fight that you've had recently?
Yeah, that was my most recent fight. And yeah, like you said, like I actually had all my coaches. I had more time training with Dane and Cord at Agima, training more with Joe, and Bobby was able to be there. So it just was, I know we talk about there's no perfect moment, but it was just perfect having those three coaches there.
Especially after the last,
for sure,
it felt you're grateful for it. Maybe you overlooked the idea of that, right?
Yeah.
And then especially with people like Joe, you can never miss Joe's voice.
Oh, dude,
he's so distinct.
Totally, dude, totally. So, yeah, man, that was nice. That was a sweet victory for me, and December 12th, I can't wait to rewrite history at the Masonic Temple and have another highlight reel.
Dude, I'm so excited. And honestly, anybody that has not experienced if you're local here to Utah, you haven't experienced any of the fierce fights, definitely go to the Masonic Temple and buy tickets from this gentleman. We'll put we'll put your link on the reels and stuff too for this. And then let's get to some of the questions.
Yeah.
So one of the first questions from a fighter is who do you think has the best hands in Utah? Could be boxing, could be boxing.
Well, I'm pretty biased for MMA. I'm gonna say myself, and I feel like at some point I really want to box as well. I feel like I could excel in boxing. In boxing, that's a good question. I'd probably have to say John for sure.
That's who asked the question.
Oh, okay. You're welcome, John.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to say who it was first. Yeah, 'cause that's what he was asking. He's the
That's
one that asked.
hilarious. Yeah, dude.
I
John
was
John.
like, it's a vibe. I agree,
Yeah,
dude.
dude,
It's so hard
it's
not
quick.
to, dude.
Yeah.
And his angles and the dancing, like,
Mhm.
literally, it's that like for anybody that gets somebody to throw a right hand, they fall on their face afterwards.
Yeah.
You're just behind them already.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's who asked.
Yeah, I've watched John.
It's a loaded
spar
question.
too. Oh yeah, I've watched John spar. I'm like, dude, he's smooth with it, man. Like
He just dancing.
he's
and
dancing,
smiling.
he's talking shit out as he's making people miss. I'm
And
like,
his story's crazy.
his story is
Like he shouldn't even be able to punch.
Yeah.
Like getting the getting shot in his arm and crazy.
crazy.
But yeah, so and then we'll do I don't know if it matter or like we do kickboxing or something. Who do you think we'll just go across the board. Who do you think
All
are
right.
some of the best grapplers, and we'll just go across the board. That might be.
Grappler.
Or you can say top 3 if you want.
top 3.
I know you're like, dang. I'm gonna leave some friends. You got some unfollows.
Yeah, right. Are we talking straight grappling?
Whatever you want it to be. Yeah, we could do a straight grappling.
Straight grappling.
Or so we'll do grappling and then we'll do jiu-jitsu. Just a top 3 because you said striking. You have one for you for MMA, and then we have boxing. I'm trying to think. I guess kickboxing would be similar. but-
Kickboxing. That's a good question.
Yeah, I guess it's hard to.
I'm gonna say no comment on
Okay.
on the kickboxing. Let's see. For grappling, probably have to go with Tristan McDonald.
Okay.
Okay, I trained with him at Agima,
Uh-huh.
and he just had a really good run over at ADCC just a few weeks ago, and he's a really good coach too. The way he breaks things down, it's very, very clear and concise on what he's teaching, and the guy's a dog, man. He's
Yeah.
really good, really good.
I'm not sure if I know him.
Oh, you
I'll
gotta
have to
have to
check.
look him
Yeah,
up, man.
It
He's
sounds familiar.
yeah,
but
he's solid.
Cool. We'll have to check him out. And then yeah. So I mean the grappling, and then is there just somebody else for jiu-jitsu, or would you say Tristan?
For jujitsu, let's see. Probably have to say Damon from Unified. I mean,
Okay.
he's a savage.
Yeah.
savage
I've
black
heard-
belt. You know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I rolled with him. He's a top level.
Yeah.
Savage.
Oh yeah, he's
Well,
top.
shout
level
out
for
to those guys. And then so the next question was like, why do you keep getting what's the goal of getting punched in the face? Where do you see it going, and what would you do afterwards to see if it doesn't work out, or if it does work out, and then what would you like to transition into?
I would really like to own my own gym someday. Later down the road, I don't really feel like running a gym and trying to fight is the right move right now.
You can only have your eggs in so many baskets.
For sure, totally. And then you're right now. You know what? Repeat the question. I'm sorry.
And then the beginning was like, what keeps you going to get punched in the face for a living? Like, was basically the question.
What keeps me going? Getting punched in the face.
And that was a shout out to my brother Mateo for that question.
Let's see. I guess just seeing the level up in your own game, right? I've always took myself as like a student of the game, right? Even though like right now I have a black eye, right? But at the same time, it's like I love this sport. I love what it's done for me, and I love giving back to the next generation. I love giving back to whoever I'm training with, the people that I train. Like I just love this sport so much because it's done so much for me that it keeps me motivated to progress my own game and still be the #1 bantamweight here in Utah and be the next Utah fighter to get to the UFC and make a run in the UFC. And that's where I see my career heading, is getting into the UFC by the end of 2026.
100%. Dude, I think so too. I don't see why not. Like, I think you're there. Is even if like apparently you want to be champion, but even if you get there, I feel like
sure.
like the same thing is going to state, right? You're like, I made it. And I want to see that for you. And I think out of everybody, it's like you, Julian, and there's a couple other people that I think have the potential to be able to make it there. And you're definitely one of them. You've already gone against people in the contender series. You've made it like throughout the rounds. Like you have everything, I believe.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And sometimes it is just the luck of the draw for the day, right?
For sure.
Unfortunately, but
Yeah.
And then on that too. So I heard this theory, what I thought was really interesting. And I brought it up with Casey, and I'll bring it up again. It's like, it's one of the difference between like blue collared and white collared in like places like 2020 is, especially with males, it's their relationship with chaos or danger.
Yeah,
Like we have to have some level of danger.
for
And
sure.
a lot of men don't, unfortunately, nowadays,
Yeah,
which is fine if they want to be, tech guys or whatever that is,
for
like
sure.
cool. But we have to have a level, like whether it's blue collar power tools, like,
Yeah.
or like having to walk across trusses or roofs or whatever. That climbing up ladders no fun. That's scary.
No, dude, I'm
I
not
get
gonna
that.
lie.
Yeah,
Sometimes it
seriously.
scares the shit out of me.
They'll make your butt pucker.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And then because I used to do that for a living, like walking across non-bearing walls and stuff during the snow out here. I'm like, nope, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
I'm a different kind of man, and this is not it anymore. But yeah, you have to have a level of chaos or a level of understanding of danger, whether that's just wrestling, karate, or
Yeah.
whatever that is. I think you, as a human, especially males, some people are hunters, some people are gatherers. That's okay.
For sure.
But we need everybody. But I think for men especially, because otherwise you don't have this rite of passage and you don't have this ability. That's when you start puffing your chest the wrong areas. There's no pecking order.
Yeah,
And then you just got a bunch of chickens running around. Pop, 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 pop.
yeah.
But does that make sense?
Yeah, dude, that makes total sense.
Yeah,
for sure.
So I don't know if you want to add anything on that or your
I mean,
spin on that, but
it's like Dominic Cruz, right? His podcast is Love and War, right? There's a sense of war, but there's also a sense of
it's a
love
good
and life.
That's a good
Oh,
podcast.
I love
I
that
love it.
podcast, dude. So far, every episode, except
Did
for
you-
one of them.
The
That's
one
been
with
great.
him and that autistic kid with the chicken sandwiches or whatever.
I mean, I didn't know he was
Oh,
autistic,
I
but
don't know. I'm just guessing. Like he plays it well. The kid with the long hair.
yeah, I was like, I can't get
I
into
was
this
like,
one.
man, they're just like, yeah, that was interesting. But
Yeah.
yeah,
It's been I like listening to that podcast, but like every episode I can always relate to it, especially when he talks about the relationships of, of you and somebody else, like with fighting in a relationship, like a relationship with someone is not a normal relationship, especially for dating a fighter that's trying to get to the next level and being dedicated to the sport. And, he put it in a clear way. I was like, dude, I was trying to win. If you're not helping me win, you're in my way.
and
Like,
for you too, you're a very giving individual, so I'm sure it's a hard polarity. You're one of the good guy, genuinely good.
sure.
And I appreciate that about you. But it's hard to be self-centered sometimes and then have that space, right? Like you stretch yourself so thin.
Yeah.
Because like you said, like you have to show up for your students or your girl or whoever, your dogs or whoever that is. And sometimes you barely have enough energy to show up for yourself.
Totally. And, to be honest, that's something I've really struggled with in the last few years is showing up for myself, putting myself first. And I was telling Blake on the Damage Plan podcast the other day, it's like I really learned that, yeah, I am a good guy. I'm a nice guy, this and that. But at the same time, I'm tired of being walked over. I'm being walked on because I'm a good guy. A lot of people take advantage of that,
Kyle Deaver, do you know Kyle? He has that podcast with Ramsey. He owns Bad Bet and a few other things.
Mm-hmm.
Real successful guy.
Yeah.
He's around our age. But he told me one thing. He's like, Justin, you're one of the nicest guys I know. But nice guys and good guys are different. Nice guys get walked on, and good guys can make it in life. You have to find the difference.
Yep.
And I think that's where you're in now too. And it's okay to say no. Boundaries are a must.
Yeah. Dude, I agree 1000%, and also realizing that putting yourself first isn't selfish, because at the end of the day, who's going to do it for you? You have to be there for it. You have to be your own advocate, man.
Your pitcher has to be full before you fill in other people's glasses.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you have these bitter ex-fighter type of archetypes that you see that never was actually able, in some aspects, that weren't able to fill that cup. So otherwise, you can have resentment and things like that. I think it's good that you learn. Not saying you haven't learned that, but it sounds like you're learning it deeper now.
Oh, definitely. I've been going to therapy for a while now, and shout out to my therapist, Bryce, because he helped me really realize a lot about myself.
Survivor guilt is a real thing too.
For sure.
But sorry, I cut you off.
Oh, you're good.
But that's something I feel like a lot of men have too, especially if you're leveling up. You want to bring everybody with you, and it's not possible.
Yeah, for sure. Sometimes you can't take everyone with you.
You're not supposed to either. The smaller, you notice a lot of these pro fighters, once you start making big money, what happens? You have a lot more friends popping out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And when things go down, everybody disappears.
Totally.
So the more successful you get, the smaller the group should be. Technically.
Yeah.
Seems like that. Rule of thumb.
And the smaller the group, I feel like is the better way to have your group to be,
you know, and then you have the friends that are going to give you a stronger hug on the bad days.
For
you know,
sure.
and let you do your thing on the good.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and they don't make it about themselves and the coaches, and there's all that across the board, you know, you see, unfortunately.
Totally.
And then the next one was, what's your favorite cheat meal?
Oh, brother. That's a good question. I could go on and on, but
Top three.
if I had to, okay, top three, we can do top three. Pizza. I love pizza. I'm a Ninja Turtle at heart, man.
From where?
Anywhere, dude. Pizza's
Anywhere?
pizza, bro. But
Have you been to the Slice House?
I have not actually.
You should. It's
I have not,
like award-winning fermented sourdough. Like you can go out there. Yeah.
bro.
If you me, I'm super strict on my diet, but it's not because I don't love pizza and
Yeah.
chicken nuggets and like. But once I start eating it, it's a problem.
Yeah.
Like I could finish a large pizza
Dude.
by myself.
I went to New York twice this year, and I had pizza every single day. Dude.
Different types, or like
Different types, different places.
swiping right
breakfast,
on every.
lunch. Pretty much, dude. Pretty much. It was pizza and Chinese food, dude.
Yeah.
My buddy Carlos and I, we had Chinese food almost every night.
We're like, hello, 170 weight class.
Yeah, dude. Seriously.
But see, and that's the balance. Like, because if you're happy doing it, and then you can still find discipline later,
For
a
sure.
week of it, and then you go back down. That's finding balance and like being educating yourself on where your boundaries are there too. Where he.
Totally.
But yeah, you gotta go like Chicago, different places.
Yeah.
Like, do you have a favorite style of pizza?
I think New York style pizza.
Yeah,
for
because
sure.
And then other than that, there's one more question.
I got two more.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. Go
More
ahead.
for anything to do with ice cream. I'm a sucker for ice cream. And then definitely have to say let's go with Mexican food. I love Mexican food. I think Mexican food's
Real
delicious.
Mexican food.
Real
Right.
Mexican food.
Not
I'm
Tex-Mex.
talking like my grandma's
Yeah.
Mexican
Yeah,
food,
100%.
my mom's Mexican food.
When I moved to Utah, I was like, what in the fuck is this?
Yeah.
I was like, mayonnaise is spicy out here for these motherfuckers.
Right. Although, I mean, Tacos Lopez, that
Yeah.
place is fire, dude.
Yeah.
If you haven't been to Tacos Lopez, you gotta go.
We'll have to go.
Sponsor me after
Yeah.
party. Let's go.
All right, let's go. Yeah, we'll get that out there. But yeah, it's dude, 100%. What's your what would you say two favorite like the Mexican dishes are?
Definitely enchiladas. And then what's my second one? Anything with chili verde.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I'm a sucker for good chili verde.
Yeah, me too. Like chilies con chiles in the morning.
Oh,
Even pozole.
Pozole's fire too,
Yeah,
dude.
now that it's cold weather, I could use some.
Yeah.
And then so that was 3. So we have pizza, ice cream, Mexican food, and then the other there was another question I'm slipping on the last one. But so we'll do this in closing. You'll be able to look at the camera, and so what it'll be is basically you'll I don't want you to think of I'm losing my train of thought here. So 3 points of advice that you'll give to our guests that you think help create a successful individual. Just anything. You don't have to think too deeply about it.
Yeah.
Just like whatever comes to mind, top 3. And then you'll just look right into that camera there and then give that advice out to the audience.
Sure. I'm going to have to go with my number 1. Something my grandpa would tell me before every single sporting event in my life is give it all you got. Doesn't matter whatever it is you have your mind set to in life, you got to give it all you got and have no regrets with that. Not even one letter, you know? Number 2, you know, I don't really have 2 other ones, to be honest. Like, give it all you got's been my mantra from my grandpa since day one. And if I could choose all 3 to be that, I'm going to say give it all you got for all 3, to be honest.
So that was all 3?
All 3.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having you, or thanks for coming in today.
Dude, thank you so much for having me.
Dude, you're a great and awesome person. I really appreciate you from a coaching aspect and as a friend aspect. You've always been really awesome to me. And we're looking forward to your fight here at December 12th, correct?
December 12th.
Get your tickets.
Live at the Masonic Temple. Head to Fierce Fighting Championships. Get your tickets. Click on my face to support me or not. But thank you if you do. Thank you to everybody that has supported me on this journey. And we'll see you there.
Yeah, haters show up too. Still buying tickets. And then in closing, thanks for listening. This is Just in Our Minds. Get out of your heads, get into your hearts, and have a good day.